Today's topic is about homelessness. Child homelessness refers to the removal or separation of children from their parents, families, or the environments in which they were initially raised. The term homeless children includes different categories of children who suffer separation from their families and social environments as a result of a variety of reasons. These numbers include children separated from their parents, refugee children, children sent to boarding schools, internally displaced children, and asylum seekers. Thus, child homelessness refers to a wide range of factors due to which children are removed from their parents and social environments. They include persecutions, wars, armed conflicts, unrest, and separation for a variety of reasons. According to the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, as of 2002, there were about 22 million homeless children in the world. Many of them have been displaced for a very long period of years. Children in areas most affected by armed conflict or unrest face on average 6 to 7 years of displacement. The accepted and internationally recognized definition of child is any person under the age of 18, regardless of their status. Forms of homelessness. Internal displacement includes the removal of children from areas or geographical locations in which strife broke out during civil wars or armed conflicts. There are approximately 13.5 million internally displaced children around the world today. Planned homelessness includes moving children away from their parents by government in accordance with public policy such as American Indian boarding schools, removal of a child from a non-custodial parent due to divorce proceedings, removal due to boarding schools, moving children to live with relatives for economic or social reasons, and removal of children on behalf of the family in implementation of the law for judicial reasons. Meaningful displacement includes the removal of children from conflict zones in order to avoid recruitment into war. Displacement is on a large scale, including refugees, asylum seekers, and child soldiers. Psychological effects of separation and turmoil on children's relationships with their parents. Psychologists and social behavioral scientists agree that children grow better psychologically and developmentally in families consisting of two parents rather than families consisting of only one parent. Bowlby stated that there is a critical period sensitive to the development of attachment, during which this attachment is easily formed between the child and his parents. Early research on adoption supports this view, although scholars have stated that this sensitive period is actually very long. This may mean that children need a longer period of time to interact with their parents than previously thought. Effects on attachment development. Attachment development occurs as a result of the process of mutual interaction between parent and child. This mutual interaction helps the child to distinguish his parents from the rest of the people and to develop emotional relationships with his parents. The child's attachment to his father also helps to develop psychological security and self-confidence, and to develop trust in other than his parents. Spending time together is not the only influencing factor in developing attachment. A little interaction is also needed to develop attachment. Providing opportunities for regular interaction is important for the development of attachment. Children in single or single-parent families adapt best when they enjoy warm, positive interactions with parents who are actively involved. The empirical literature shows that children need regular interaction with their loved ones in order to maintain relationships, and it hurts the separation of the child for a long time from either of his parents because it impedes the development of the attachment stage and the child's relationships with his father. This is why it becomes very difficult to re-establish the relationship between children and their parents once it has been affected. Therefore, it is preferable to avoid such disturbances. The child's relationships with his mother greatly affects the nature of the child's social, psychological, and emotional development. The empirical literature also shows that disruption in the relationship between the child and his parents has negative effects on the child's development. Children who are deprived of a normal, balanced interaction and a beneficial relationship with either of their parents are considered more vulnerable to psychological risks. That is why children are more able to fulfill their psychological needs when they can have a healthy and regular relationship with both of their parents. The situation is ideal in the relationship between children and their parents when there is a daily interaction between the child and his parents. It is this interaction in the family and social contact, such as play, various basic care, setting boundaries, putting the child to bed, etc. Daily activities promote the development and maintenance of trust and help strengthen and deepen relationships. Divorce and removal from the father. Main article: non-custodial parent. As for divorce and separation, negative effects were observed due to the severance of the relationship between the child and his father. Therefore, it is important to maintain regular interaction between the children and both parents in cases where the child is removed due to divorce. It is therefore unfortunate that in contemporary practice, the relationship between the child and the non-custodial parent is not strengthened during divorce proceedings. Therefore, children face potential danger because of being removed from their non-custodial parent or because of their disappearance after the previously beneficial relationship with each other. This risk adds to the set of other problems caused by divorce, including the financial burden and access to less social support. Separating children from their parents is stressful and painful. Long-term effects of removing a child from their parents. The study conducted by the National Institute of Child Health and Human Development was designed to assess the long-term outcomes of care given by non-parents. It includes both kinship and non-relative care. The theory of the National Institute of Child Health and Human Development was based on the ecological theory presented by Yuri Bronfenbrenner. But the analysis of the effects of family and child care showed that family characteristics and the nature and quality of the mother's relationship with the child was a much better predictor of children's outcomes. The prolonged separation of children from their parents has a profoundly disruptive effect on children's development. This includes long separations such as separation due to death, sending children to live in institutions or environments others than their parents, divorce, parental abandonment of the child, and treatment in hospitalizations or prolonged absences due to illness. Prolonged exposure to poor institutional care may lead to despair, apathy, and helplessness in social response. According to Rutter, failure to develop a secure attachment to parents is what leads to problems with social response. Sending children to institutions is considered one of the extreme forms of separation and removal of the child from his parents. Emotional abuse, neglect, bullying, or isolation of the child are all forms of emotional abuse of the child. Hidden influence. There is an opinion that says that children grow during adolescence by benefiting from previous periods, and that some of the effects resulting from previous experiences during the upbringing of the child may appear at a later time in what is called the hidden effect. It may be seen that the effects of child rearing may not appear until later.